This conference will now be recorded.
All right, and if you want to take it, Anna.
Thank you so much, Kim, for your help. I want to welcome everybody today to our program. Before we get started, I do want to give a little update about some programs that are going on with the Mercer County Library System. It is February, which means it's African American History Month. And while Mercer County Library System offers diverse and unique programming all year round, February gives us an opportunity to really highlight and celebrate and recognize Black history. There's a couple of programs that I wanted to share with you. On Monday, February 7th at 6:30 in the evening, we'll have Janet Mendel, who is an art historian. She'll be talking about the Harlem Renaissance. So really talking about that explosion of creativity that transformed the African American identity. And then on Tuesday, a little bit more locally, on Tuesday, February 22nd at 7 in the evening, Algernon Ward, who is a local historian, will be presenting In Graves of Their Own. And I'm very much looking forward to this program. It's about Locust Hill Cemetery that's in Trenton, and that is the largest remaining African American cemetery in the Trenton area. And some of the earliest remains are in that cemetery from 1799. And Algernon Ward he's just a fountain of information about the cemetery, as well as the efforts he's been making to work on the recognition and restoration and maintaining the site as well. So just a couple things to think about to attend. You can find those on our website at mcl.org, or you can download our app, which is My MCLSNJ, from your app store, and you can access the programs and register through the app as well. So without further ado, today we have Arlene Ferris-Waks, who is here to talk to us about cryptocurrency. And I don't know about you, but I don't know a whole lot about it. So I'm very much looking forward to the information that she's going to share today. And as Kim talked about in the beginning, is that we're going to try and hold questions to the end, and we ask that you use the chat capabilities in the software to pose those questions, and then I will give them to Arlene for her to field. If there's some burning, and you can put the questions in there throughout the presentation, and I'll just keep a running log to make sure that I ask Arlene at the end of her presentation. Thank you so much.
So, Anna, are we ready to go then?
It's all you, Arlene.
Thank you. Well, hello, everybody. I'm glad you could join me today, and thank you to the library for the invitation to discuss cryptocurrency and talking about the basics of this relatively new asset class. Just a few things. I provided to the librarian, Anna, some investor ed brochures that will be put on the website, one related to a cryptocurrency alert and the other on romance scams. And you may want to take a look at those after the program. I'm also going to be providing my email and phone number if there's any subsequent questions or contact that you need afterwards. And I'll make the best effort to answer questions today. If I don't know the answer, I will tell you and we'll get back to you through the library in trying to find an answer. So let's go forward. The New Jersey Bureau of Securities is presenting this program, and it's the state securities regulator. The Bureau itself is located in downtown Newark, New Jersey, but it covers the state. And basically, it's tasked with investor protection and compliance with the securities law and regulations. And under those auspices today, I'm here under that guise of investor protection to discuss cryptocurrency. The Bureau itself actually regulates securities firms such as investment advisory firms and brokerage firms, investment advisors, and registered representatives. This kind of gives you a scope of some of the work that the Bureau does. We go out and do examinations of firms. We do take enforcement action when there have been securities law and regulation violations. We register those people who are conducting securities business within the state. So that's kind of a little bit of the nutshell about what's done. And there's a state securities regulator in every state, in Mexico, in parts of the Virgin Islands, and Canada. And all of the regulators stay in touch with one another through our regulatory body known as the National Association of Security Administrators. So in terms of cryptocurrency, one of the things to remember about it specifically is that we're talking about an asset class that currently is not regulated and is not considered a security. What is cryptocurrency? Well, it's digital currency, which means it's decentralized, that it can be used as online payment for goods and services. And really, cryptocurrency was created in reaction to the financial crisis of 2008, so that consumers could access money quickly and cheaply. It was an aspect of hoping that people that are unbanked would have access to a means of good to purchase and sell goods and services without some of the problems of fees and other information required in banking. So that was kind of a way that it got started. It uses an online ledger. There are no fees, as I said. There's a community of users, and it really uses strong cryptography to secure the transactions. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this. And really, cryptography is a way of using secure communication. Right now, as of today, you can spend your cryptocurrency. Microsoft accepts it in its online Xbox store. Overstock.com accepts it. Home Depot. Namecheap uses it to purchase domain names. Starbucks, Whole Foods are just some of the companies that are looking to accept and use cryptocurrency. And let's just make some comparisons. You'll see up on my slide on the upper right-hand corner some euros, and then of course the United States dollar. Basically, that's pictures of fiat currency, which is really backed by a government, and it's really not backed anymore by any commodity like gold or silver. Really, the value is derived solely from the trust that people place in it. And fiat really comes from the Latin word by decree. So fiat currency is government issued currency. And the reason I'm mentioning that is that's a difference than what we're going to learn about today in terms of digital currency. Here are some examples of digital currency. You'll see Bitcoin, Polkadot, many of the others, Litecoin, and non-fungible tokens, which are kinds of digital files of real world objects and digitally encoded. And I'm going to go more into what are non-fungible tokens as we go along, but generally they can be artwork, music, etc., that are tagged to a code on the internet and are kept there. And with a non-fungible token, just like the similarity would be to, let's use a painting. If Van Gogh had painted his painting of sunflowers, there's an original painting that's been verified with his signature. NFTs are the original item, and they usually have a digital signature, but copies can be made. Similar to Van Gogh's painting of the sunflower, we may see copies of the poster or copies of paintings, that are in furniture stores, say, related to that, but they are not the original. So NFTs are the original, and then copies can be made. With non-fungible tokens, sometimes various rights come with them that allow the purchaser certain creative rights. But again, you have to look into the non-fungible token that you're purchasing. And it's been very big and discussed a lot in the art world. Many musicians are looking to use it for their music and is really providing a whole other kind of revenue stream in regards to that. In terms of the other types of tokens or currency that we've looked at here, there's been a lot of discussion and a lot of people looking at these various types of coins to see about purchasing them. When I first began this program, one Bitcoin was worth about $67,000. That was at about roughly the beginning of January when I gave this program. Today, one Bitcoin, I went on one of the websites I use for valuation, and I'll share that with you later, is worth about $37,000. So the volatility and expense of a coin is something to keep in mind, in terms of your investment. So let's talk a little bit about Bitcoin, which is probably the most people are most aware of this, which was the first cryptocurrency. It's most widely used and accepted. It was created in 2009 by Satoshi Nakamoto, who today still remains anonymous. There's about 21 million Bitcoin ultimately that are within this universe of Bitcoins. So it's a fixed amount, and as I said, it's something that many people are most aware of. The Bitcoin itself will be fully mined, or the word minted, in the year 2140. And a Satoshi is the smallest unit of the Bitcoin currency, which means that if I wanted to buy a Bitcoin, I might not want to be coughing up $37,000 today, but I might consider a smaller amount of Bitcoin, such as the Satoshi, which goes out to about 8 decimal places. And I just thought it would kind of give people sort of an idea. So similar to, if you don't want to, you have the dollar and it's divided into, say, 100 pennies or 10 dimes, et cetera, et cetera. But here it's all, a digital format. Does anybody have any questions at the moment? I don't want to lose anybody or feel like I'm putting them to sleep with some of this, but I am just trying to kind of lay the basis of how cryptocurrency works.
Arlene, there was a question. This kind of was when you were talking, and I'm not sure if you're able to answer this or not, but he asks, how long will strong cryptography be strong? And he talks about quantum computing. And I don't know if that's something you can really answer or not, because because there is a strength behind it because it is so robust.
Right. I'm not somebody that has a background in information technology. I mean, there's quite a bit of confidence that and we'll go into a little bit more about blockchain when I get there in a moment, about the strength of it, and kind of how that works a little bit. But I really can't speak to that whole issue of, in terms of the viability of it. And, but so far, so good.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. What I can touch on right now is stable coins. People may hear that word, and really stable coins are a type of cryptocurrency that are pegged to real currency like the US dollar. So they're less volatile than, say, a Bitcoin or some other cryptocurrency coins, which trade based on, what the market will bear. And there are various websites that will provide you with the value of your cryptocurrency, because generally, unlike a stock, you may be able to look up the stock price that's traded, yesterday and find in today's newspaper what the current price of it is, say, on the New York Stock Exchange. Cryptocurrency prices are only the latest price quoted on the website you're looking at. But towards the end of the program, I'm going to provide a couple of websites where you can find more reliable pricing information on that cryptocurrency. So we'll be talking about that a little bit later in my slides. So let's get down to, well, what is a blockchain? A blockchain is a database, really, and it really stores information in blocks of information that are connected. This is all digital information. So it's holding the records while ensuring security, transparency, and decentralization. And what has happened is within the blockchain or this type of database, it could be used for various other things. But so far, the most common use has been as a ledger for transactions. And the data is connected from block to block in a chronological order. So this all is out there on the internet, and this is how it's kind of working. Cryptocurrency mining, and perhaps another word I could use for this is minting. It's really a widely used method to verify and authenticate blockchain records. And it really requires a lot of high-powered computers to solve complex mathematical equations in which new bitcoins are created. Sort of, it's this is the digital version of when in terms of actual fiat currency here in the United States, we can print paper money or issue more coins through the Federal Reserve. So I'm just saying it's an analogous process, of course, although it is all digitized and going on through the internet. Some of the things to consider with the mining process is that it is very mathematically intensive computational process. And I've already said it, the coins or tokens are created. And really, the miners are located worldwide. So they're rewarded for mining by receiving bitcoins for transaction verification. So there is an incentive for doing this. There's a lot of, as I said, extremely intensive and fast processing required for this kind of creation of bitcoins. Another thing to consider with the cryptocurrency mining are environmental considerations. It requires a lot of energy because the balances of the coins are not recorded in a central database. This is a decentralized database. So that creates additional requirements in terms of the mining. And so therefore, the kind of mining that can go on can burn fossil fuels. Some of them can use renewable energy sources, but it has still been something that's being studied to see what the impact that cryptocurrency mining would have on climate change. However, it should also be noted, just in terms of a balanced discussion of this, that certain coins such as Polkadot and Cardano do not require mining and use much less energy than Bitcoin. One of the things that you need in terms of investing in cryptocurrency is a wallet. It's really just like your leather wallet, but digital, as a way of having proof of your digital cash. And people can receive and send cryptocurrency through their digital wallets. Some people choose to use a cold wallet, which is a hardware wallet such as a USB drive. Others prefer a hot wallet, which is a type of software wallet. Cold wallets Those that come off the internet and are not on there, such as a hot wallet, can be more secure in maintaining your cryptocurrency and have a little more security from being hacked. Another thing to remember about cryptocurrency is that it is considered property by the Internal Revenue Service, and as such is subject to capital gains taxes. So something to be aware of. Keys. When you're involved in having an account with cryptocurrency, you have digital keys. There's a public key, which is used only to receive cryptocurrency from others, a private one used to provide access to a user's cryptocurrency, and really a digital signature, which is used to sign and authorize cryptocurrency transactions. So these are keys that are randomly generated with numbers and letters, and should be put in secure places by people that are using cryptocurrency so that they don't forget or that nobody has access to. But they can be quite lengthy, and it can be a problem, just like if you forget your password, if you do not know what your keys, what are the numbers and letters comprising your particular keys. Now we come to a point about how to buy cryptocurrency. I just want to issue caution here because generally the New Jersey Bureau of Securities, if you would call us and you want to work with an investment person or a firm, you can call us and we can tell you if that person or firm is registered, how long they've been in business, if there's any complaints on their licenses, what licenses they hold, and a little bit more information about if they're the right person that you can work with. And most importantly, if they're registered and can legally do business. It's not the same in the world of cryptocurrency. So what I'm advising you to do here is to be very, very careful about how to go about buying cryptocurrency. You can choose an exchange or a platform, and choosing one I would suggest that requires two-factor authentication and ID verification for good security. And look at the fees charged because as with any investment, fees tend to decrease your rate of return. And roughly with these firms, some of them can charge anywhere between 0.01 and 1% of a transaction. And generally, when you create an account, they're going to be asking you for some personal and financial information. So check out what you're doing. Look at the internet. You could call the Bureau of Securities, and then decide how much you're going to purchase. Again, cryptocurrency is a very volatile asset. And it's really something that you can invest in, but you have to be aware that you could easily lose 100% of your investment. So again, you may not want to make this 100% of your total investment portfolio, but to be aware of what kind of exposure you want and how you would manage if your investment in cryptocurrency should go to zero. And this is what I wanted to discuss too. Really the buyer being aware, because of the lack of decentralized control and the anonymity, and that investments in cryptocurrency are uninsured and unregulated, investors become very, very vulnerable to fraud. One of the things to be very, very aware of is when you're investing. Be aware in social media if someone comes on to social media and is opening up or trying to establish a relationship with you and then tries to take you off of social media, to invest in some link that they say will help you double your number of coins that you can purchase. We're seeing a lot of scams in cryptocurrency related to romance scams. And that's why I mentioned the brochure that I had provided. Many times people are on social media, develop these relationships online quickly, and then the scammer moves to move the person who they feel who has believe has trust in them offline to other online sites that are scam sites to invest in cryptocurrency. So be aware of if you're on social media of being asked to invest in anything and it's not available online and you're being taken off of social media. Take a look on the internet to find out any information about the site. And as I said, feel free to call upon the Bureau of Securities so we could take a look at the site and let you know. Some websites have been designated as custodial sites, custodians, and as such come under the jurisdiction of the New York Department of Banking, of Financial Services, I'm sorry. So some of them are regulated that way, but most of these websites aren't. And be very, very careful of a lot of the sites that are coming on offshore. Many times people go into these sites, invest, um, see that their investment grows, and then wish to pull out their money to take their profits. And then people ask them for fees or taxes and keep bothering them for additional money, and they never get their money or presumably the profit that they're made. And a lot of times on the websites themselves, there's nobody to contact, no customer service, because unlike in a credit card situation where if you have a problem, you can contact the credit card company and they might, would be able to reverse the transaction. There are no reversal of transactions in cryptocurrency transactions. And hackers often use them as payment. As I said, there's many scams, there's many fake exchanges, and there's also attempts to hack into cryptocurrency wallets. Often unsuspecting people on social media, particularly who maybe through romance scams or just friendships, are being told by the person inducing them to invest that they need to provide their personal key to their cryptocurrency coins. Do not share this information with anyone. It would be like giving someone your bank account information where they can go in and take your money, or in the same way where someone can go in and access your cryptocurrency. So you have to be very, very aware that you're kind of working and investing in something right now that's still in its beginning stages and is very, very unregulated. Besides seeing fake digital wallets, we're also seeing, in terms of cryptocurrency scams, multi-level marketing platforms. These are usually platforms where people are induced, to get involved and provide levels of services and then get others involved to provide a level of service, sort of like a pyramid scheme. Some multi-level marketing platforms are legitimate, where they legitimately pay people that are involved in providing those services. Generally, the ones that are relying on people to get any money and say you have to provide others into the multi-level marketing platform are the ones that we really find are illegal and are scamming people. In terms of pump and dumps, just like with stocks, oftentimes information is put out in the internet to push up the price of cryptocurrency. So a lot of times currencies that may have little or no value, there may be news out that's potentially pushing up their price, saying they have increased value. And while people are getting excited and buying and investing in those coins, those people that are providing that news are liquidating their positions, and they've come out making money while people that were listening to the news and jumping in are holding a bag with investments that are low priced or worthless. I mentioned already that in terms of cryptocurrency, the Bitcoin, when I started doing this presentation early on, excuse me, at the end of December, the beginning of January, was worth roughly 67. One Bitcoin was worth roughly $67,000, and today it's worth, as of today, when I checked, about 37,000. To give you the idea of extreme price swings within this, so it's something to really be aware of and to be really careful about. I've already emphasized that you can lose your entire investment. And it's really a very hard thing to independently verify coin value. A lot of times coin values are quoted such as the website you're on. So again, I'm going to give you websites at the end of this program where you can get maybe better information about the valuation of the actual coins you're investing in. It's always a good thing to be wary of in terms of promises where you can earn lots of money in a very short time, or a guarantee. There really is no such thing as a guarantee in the investment world, and all investments are at the risk of the market. Be aware of unsolicited offers from investment managers, people you don't know who are asking you to invest. If you wanted more information or you're unsure, check with the Bureau of Securities. And really be careful where big claims are being made about the investment without any details being provided. Um, are there any questions with the information I've provided so far?
So Arlene, yes, there was some questions and comments that were coming in through the chat. One thing you addressed, someone actually specifically asked about the environment and it being bad for the environment, which you addressed. And is that something that might change the mining for Bitcoin? Are they looking into that?
Well, right now with the cryptocurrency mining, it seems that right now they'll be mining up until the 21 million Bitcoins are created right now. And as I said, that could go on until the year approximately of 2140. That's when they're estimating that all the amount of Bitcoins that were to be created would be created. And then at that point, there would be transactional charges in terms of the actual trading of the Bitcoin. So
Okay.
that's where that's at in terms of that process. But again, to be fair, like I said, some will be minted and will not be putting on as much high energy requirements. But I think at this point in time, we're seeing a lot of different types of coins trade. And until we see a better look at this market, and there I'm not an expert, but to see how things sort of shake out in the near future, maybe in the next couple years, we might have a better idea.
Okay, thank you. And then you had talked about stable coins, which is something I had not heard of before. And we had a participant ask, do stable coins combine anonymity with stability?
Well, I think yes, it does. And a lot of times stable coins are being looked at because you'd like to know that if you're buying something, the value today of the coin is still the same tomorrow. And with having it, linked to a financial asset like the dollar, because we're not only looking at Bitcoin for various types of transactions. Companies are looking at, and even our government is looking at issuing types of digital currency that can be used in certain types of transactions. For example, certain hotels have considered issuing coins which may provide specific services for those participants who purchase the coins. So, particularly in that aspect of business, that's really one of the roles that the stable coin is being looked at.
Okay, thank
Um,
you.
And just to mention now, I've talked and advertised about these various websites. Some of the places that you can find um, reliable, I'd say, price information on the valuation of the cryptocurrency you hold, whether it's Bitcoin or Dogecoin or Litecoin, etc., would be on some of these websites. One is coinmarketcap.com, prices.org, cryptocompare.com, coin.market, and bitinfocharts, one word.com. And I can provide that back to the library if anybody wants to get that out in writing, if they haven't caught it from this presentation. As
I
they
would
may,
appreciate that. I was trying to type them into the chat as fast as you were saying them. So if you could send that out, I could pass it on to our participants.
no problem, Anna. No
Do
problem. I'll
you
be
have
happy.
time to, I would appreciate that. Thank you. Do you have
I
time to
will.
take a couple more questions that have come in?
Oh, sure, sure.
Okay. Um, again, Bitcoin is, you touched on so much today, and that's the one that I've heard the most about. And one of the questions that came in is, how do Polkadot and the others avoid mining?
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that question? I'm not sure I understand.
The question is, how do Polkadot and the other ones that you mentioned, I can't, there's Polkadot, there's,
Oh, Cardano,
yeah,
that in
how do
terms
they
of
avoid
mining.
mining? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on there, to be very honest with you. I'd have to get back to you in terms of answering that question. All I can tell you is because I was trying to understand this process in general of cryptocurrency mining, and I was speaking to a person that actually does it, who has some of these high speed computers. And I said, well, how long does this process take? And he told me it could only take like 10 minutes. So, I was really trying to understand that. But I'll see if I can find something out and I will have to get back to you on that answer.
Okay, thank you. And then you touched on this as well, the whole, the aspect that Bitcoin has been called a Ponzi scheme, and obviously it can be involved in something like that.
Well, yes, it can be. I mean, it's been used by hackers and various scammers. I mean, there are people looking to legitimately invest in this digital asset and, hold it. And I think it's more a matter of looking at where are you opening up your account, who are you interacting with, until possibly there is more regulation to some extent of this type of asset, of this type of investment asset. So, yeah, there's been a lot of concern in regards to that because of all the decentralization and the anonymity. Because generally, what happens is when we get people that have been scammed right away, they want to know, or they try to find in these websites, who should they contact? Who can they call? And oftentimes there isn't anybody. There's no phone numbers. There's no, it's a very impersonal process, if indeed it's even legitimate. I mean, there are companies now that are doing business, that are getting back to people, such as Coinbase. I'm not recommending them. I'm just giving an idea of, where you can look in terms of some places for possibly opening up accounts, and that there is accountability where you may be able to, contact a customer service person and, if you have, or the company itself, to resolve an issue.
Okay. And then there's a question that came in about capital gains. Is that through an honor system?
Actually, I believe it's reported. So I
Okay.
think that the capital gains are reported, to the IRS. There are forms. I don't have the forms. I've been asked that already. And with tax questions, since I'm not a CPA, you can contact the IRS. But as I said, since it's considered property as such, there are capital gains, that can be reported and charged from the IRS in regards to that. And anybody wanting to know, I've also been asked about wash sales. Wash sales are when somebody buys and sells a security within 30 days to take a tax benefit, and it's a violation of the securities laws. But wash sales do not apply to cryptocurrency, but
Okay.
certainly capital gains rules do.
Okay. And then is there a reason for the recent downturn in Bitcoin?
Well, I think that Bitcoin, like any asset, is subject to news and speculation. So, as such, the price gets impacted that way. I wouldn't want to make any more comment on that since I'm not
Okay.
an analyst.
Sure, sure. No, I can understand that. And then I had someone write ETF with a question mark, and I'm not sure if they meant NFT, which you addressed, or so I don't if the participant is still here, if they want to uh, qualify that a little bit. But there is another question here. I don't, and this
Yeah,
participant said,
that was
oh,
about exchange traded fund.
Oh,
Arlene
okay.
mentioned that before the
Yeah,
thing.
exchange traded
thank you.
funds. Yeah, trade on an exchange. And just quickly before this program was beginning, I was discussing that it is a way that some investors get access um, to the cryptocurrency world, but will be provided a perspective, and they're regulated it's sort of like a type of a mutual fund. Sort of if you wanted a fund that was going to be, say, investing in real estate or um, foreign currency. So exchange traded funds, they trade like a stock generally. In that regard, their prices are posted, and it may be one way. I'm not making a strong recommendation, but it might be a consideration of the way somebody might get access if they wish to have a component of their portfolio invested in cryptocurrency with some semblance of safety, relatively speaking. Because again, to be remembered that all investments are at the risk of the market and go up and down in price as such.
And then thank you so much, Arlene. And then someone is asking or saying, I don't understand how cryptocurrency is created through mining. Who owns the license to the software to create the blockchain mining?
Well, that's the thing. There is nobody that owns the license. Various cryptocurrency mining sites are located globally. So, as a matter of fact, when there have been problems now, I believe in Kazakhstan and in China, there's been a slowdown in cryptocurrency mining. So you have various people that have these machines that are, or have these computers, sorry about that, and are doing the mining process through these algorithms, which are highly complex mathematical equations, and running them to generate the Bitcoin as such. But there isn't, as far as I understand, licensing. But there are particular types of computers that need to be purchased in that regard. So I think that if you query online, cryptocurrency mining and look at some of the mine sweepers that are used for this process, you may find more information about that.
It really is like a whole nother world. I feel like it's a parallel universe that's happening to me. And someone actually asked, and I think this is a great question, is why are so many people comfortable using cryptocurrency?
Well, I think it's something that's new and interesting. People are looking to make money quickly, particularly in a low return market. We've been in difficult economic times. I think it's given people, during the pandemic, many people have become interested in investing and spending more time looking at how they can invest to make more money. And the idea of digital currency has really caught on. I mean, it's not as costly, say, to open up these accounts. There's not a lot of high fees, and there's kind of a do-it-yourself
Hmm.
kind of sense, and maybe a little bit of the idea of like the gold rush, that, you too can, be the millionaire, in that sense. So I think there's that aspect that has caught on. And I think that people are looking at, well, how can the blockchain be used? Because the blockchain, as I mentioned, is a database for information. So down the road, the blockchain has only been used as a ledger for transactions, but there's no reason to say that mortgage deeds, other types of information could not be put on a blockchain. So the technology itself may go on beyond just the coin process, to be used in other ways. So other business possibilities, exist, within the world of cryptocurrency. So we have yet to see, where that's going. And people perhaps smarter than myself, and with more business acumen, may be looking into those ways.
Thank you for that question and thank you for the answer. And then this kind of leads from what you were just talking about, is can you walk us through an example of how to purchase, and if there's any profit, how to cash it?
Well, the process is that I believe I started to talk to you about opening up and having a wallet,
Mhm.
and providing, going into an exchange where you can wire your funds in and convert it into the coin you so desire, to use it either to hold, or to maybe do a purchase through some of the businesses accepting coins. So I've talked a little bit about that, and to look at the security that those exchanges and platforms are providing, and the types of personal information that are collected, which is usually collected when you open up some kind of an investment account. And so that's the process of buying and selling, or converting the Bitcoin for goods and services that you wish to purchase.
And then, thank you for answering that.
Mm.
And then this will be our last question. It's the last one that's come in. I want to let you know that there are things coming in through the chat, to me and to everyone, saying excellent presentation and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. And
Well,
this
thank you.
question I have, yeah, well, no, it's been very, very insightful. Has cryptocurrency been used to purchase real estate in the United States?
I don't know the answer to that question, to be very honest with you. I haven't been made aware of any real estate companies accepting cryptocurrency, but that doesn't mean that it hasn't occurred. It's something I'd have to take a look at, and get back to you on. And you may even want to Google that question on the internet yourself in that regard. But I could see pros and cons to that.
It would be interesting to see if there's been any news articles about that, if
Yeah,
it had happened.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I haven't been made aware recently of any situation like that.
And then I had one. I'm sorry, Arlene, just one more, because this one is about
Mhm.
contacting the bureau. Is it easy to get contact bureau to Securities?
I can provide information about how that was going to be my last piece of information to you about how to get in touch with the Bureau. So this is the way I would suggest for more information. You can contact me, and my phone number is, this is my work cell, is 973-997-3349. Or you can contact the Bureau. We have a phone number, 1-866-I-INVEST. Let me just see, I should have yeah, I'm sorry, here is my slide up with that information so you can read it. 1-866-I-INVEST, or which converts to 1-866-446-8378. And our website is njsecurities.gov. Below is my email, ferris-waxa at dca.njoag.gov. And in terms of the program, I will have a bibliography available upon request. I'm still kind of compiling that. To be honest with you, I've used some informational sources, and unlike other subjects where I have been able to do that, this has been a little bit of like hunt and peck to get information. So I'd like to thank you today, for joining this discussion and the questions, and thank the library again for the invitation to speak. And just to say to you, be careful out there and keep an open mind. Thank you.
Just going off the mic for a hot second. Great presentation. It was really nice, Arlene.